Hello and welcome to a special fantasy lore video, and today we are going to take a closer look at the deep ones and why these fishy fiends are quite overpowered and dangerous. But before we're going to do so, let me quickly thank my Patreons for supporting this channel, as well as say thanks to all users of the YouTube thanks function for making one-time donations. And furthermore, this video will be the first one of some rather experimental videos, because I want to do other videos besides just Overlord. This is not to say that I will stop making Overlord videos, just that I will make more videos besides just Overlord. So if this video or the next ones will be well received, they will become a regular series on this channel. And with that said, let's finally get to the topic at hand. And since Overlord is intimately related to the Lovecraft mythos, today we will take a look at the Deep Ones. Deep Ones are humanoid-looking fish people. Their skin is oily and wet, even when they spend extended periods on land. Their feet are webbed. Their movement is somewhat stiff, lumbersome, and heavy. Their teeth are pointy and sharp. Their eyes are cold, staring, and unblinking, and their entire demeanor is quite alien. They are horror monsters after all. They had made their debut in the Shadow over Innsmouth, which was first released all the way back in 1936, which coincidentally is the same year my Schul IT setup hails from. Okay, jokes aside, Deep Ones would, if they exist, be in most fantasy worlds, or in our own real one, be incredibly overpowered, and a great threat to any land-based life form, because Deep Ones seemingly are just sea goblins, as in they are either seemingly requiring a human female or male to sire offspring, which in turn would imply that they can't procreate among themselves, and thus will always seek some sort of control and influence over coastal towns and villages, or that they can indeed procreate with one another and sire offspring regularly. And siring offspring with humans therefore is just a way to faster increase their numbers. Then of course, given the fact that certain other tentacle things are something that have inspired some rather explicit animations within our own human society, who's to say that this isn't just a weird fetish of the fish people to make love and to procreate with humans in order to bear their kids and so on and so forth. So just like goblins in Goblin Slayer are a problem for humans, since they will constantly seek out humans or elves in order to procreate, Deep Ones will do the same. But they are an underwater-dwelling civilization that lives in deep cities below, like Ariel the Little Mermaid. What makes the entire intermingling with humans even more insidious is that Deep Ones know how to make it worth their humans' while. They pay them with trinkets of gold, priceless artifacts from the bottom of the ocean floor, long lost to mankind, and they will also make sure that every fishing village will enjoy a rich catch for as long as the fishing village or coastal town stays compliant to the Deep Ones. But if these sacrifices are stopping for some reason, the fishermen might launch a punitive raid against the land dwellers in order to punish them for breaking their obligations. And this coercion and coordinated punitive action shows that the Deep Ones are very well organized as a civilization, and of course, they know how to keep their tracks hidden well, for while it's rather obvious who is the kid of a goblin and who is not, a human can still look human on the outside, but he might still be a Deep One on the inside. For if the Deep Ones have impregnated human females, they don't take the mother and child back with them immediately. Instead, they are content letting the kid grow up to be a human, and for the first 2 decades of their life or so, there won't be any sign on the outside that the human is in actuality just another Deep One. Sure, a vivisection or an autopsy might reveal something rather unsettling, but normally you would be totally unaware that you are a fishman, and had been one your entire life. In The Shadow over Innsmouth, the protagonist of the story, Robert Olmsted, has traveled to the fishing village only to learn of its secret and pass out on the side street once he saw the fishmen walking among the town residents. But the next day, he wakes up unharmed, and the reader is initially led to believe that this was just a lucky coincidence, that the town-wide search party never checked on the place where he passed out, until it is revealed that Olmsted had been a deep one all along without knowing, hence why he was likely found and then just left alone by the deep ones. And of course, this returning to the city where his ancestors are from was also a typical behavior of deep ones. So the deep ones again likely know who is who, and while in the story the stronghold of the deep ones, the very fittingly called Devil Reef, had been torpedoed, and much of the townsfolk had been ultimately deported, the underwater city of the deep ones, Yanthelet, is seemingly still more or less intact, and will eventually become the home of Olmsted. What makes this story even more disturbing is that deep ones don't have a maximum lifespan, meaning that they will live forever if not killed, and that there's literally no reason to assume that Innsmouth was the only fishing village that was used as a repopulation outpost for the fishmen. There could be thousands of deep-one-infested fishing villages and coastal towns all over the globe, from rural Siberia to the tropical coast of the Seychelles to the fjords of Chile and Argentina, all the way to Japan and Europe, and again, since deep ones live practically forever, they would also have a long time to actually make use of these remote fishing villages. And since one can make a pact with the deep ones, there's also the very real possibility that various governments had formed a contract with the deep ones at some point in exchange for wealth and the odd fishussy here and there. So there's no telling how many fishmen inhabit the deep and how powerful they truly are. Only one thing seems to be certain: they are constantly expanding their numbers. Moreover, deep ones pray to two deities, Mother Hydra and Father Dagon. They are believed to be either the king and queen of the deep one civilization, since deep ones don't age like the humans do, and since they are basically immortal and grow for as long as they live, these two elder beings must be enormous, bigger than any other of their kind. So this is one theory. Mother Hydra and Father Dagon are simply just the leaders of these fishmen. But of course, Mother Hydra and Father Dagon could also be just two versions, the male and female aspect of their third deity, Great Cthulhu. We simply don't know what precisely lurks behind those names, which makes it all the more terrifying. Finally, deep ones have served as inspiration for other fantasy stories. In Game of Thrones, for example, there are often hints that deep ones are very much a part of the world, since here and there villagers have this unpleasant fish-like appearance that can be found all over Westeros, and Patches might actually be the messenger of their god, the drowned god. I know this character didn't appear in the anime, but nonetheless, deep ones are, as far as Westeros is concerned, a very real and very likely threat. And Bloodborne's story about the fishing village of Kos is also inspired by the Cthulhu mythos and the story about the deep ones in particular. And then there are the more straightforward deep ones, namely the iconic Deep Sea King and his people from the anime One Punch Man, who leads his people to a conquest of the surface world, and who could only be stopped by Saitama. And if you like this video, please let me know, since I'm going to experiment with other formats besides just Overlord stories. Now of course, as I said before, I still will do Overlord videos. It's more about having a second type of video I can do regularly on this very channel. And with that said, let me know your thoughts and ideas about Deep Ones, and while you type, I say thank you very much for watching, and special thanks to Arder Daddy Arder, ASK, Bad Guy, Bad Burrito 316, Beezer, Ben C, Brandon D, Chrissy, Crowley 0221, Sia, Crystal Prime, Dead Slime, Death is Mercy, Deathless Dragonlord, Demon Xenomorph 1987, Devon Downen, Ding Dong, Dragonlord Placido Saxophone, Duckwagon, Dunkler Krieger, Dystopia, Dystopia II, Enigmatic Unicorn, Feral Shivan, Guy with That Head, Hector Marino, Hoss, Huster, Jacob G, Jana B, Jason, J. Morris, Chromius, Kyle R, Lee K. Long, Legendarius, Lelouch Britannia with a Mustache, Lexus Fox, Lord Nishikian Rai, Lord Touch Me, Love Razor, Merovec, Mr. Shoes, Mr. Tweaker, Michael R, Michael Y, Nope, Oh Hell No, Normal Toad, O'Kill, Overlord General Gasper, Paddy Pantum, Personage, Primus 11, Rhinomere, Cune Caracos P, Cher Gox's Daddy, Shadow Lightning Wolf, Shrine Keeper, Super Tier Magic Batista Bomb, Supreme Cheese, Starris, Ted, Texas Deer, The Orc Warboss, Rock Ed Smasher, T.E. Wang, Vash Hawkeye, Vegito 27, Venture Fanatic, Wilhelm, Xenokai, and Zonagon. Thanks guys. Anyway, have a nice day, and I hope to see you all again soon under my next video.